Hi, Stampers. I'm going to show you an old, tried but true technique called Joseph's coat. Now, this particular technique can give you a lot of different types of effects. It can give you a wonderful background effect, or it could be actually a feature on a card. So, welcome to Stampin' with Diane. I'm Diane Evans, and I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up Demonstrator. Now, this is part of my Back to Basics series. Now, I have a special Facebook group with where we go back to the basics and everything else. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, that's great. I absolutely love the fact that you're here watching it on my YouTube channel. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and by doing that, you would go just down below and you would just subscribe to it and hit the bell, and you get notified every time I do a new update. So what I want to do is I just want to switch the camera so that it's facing down, and let's get started doing this fantastic technique. So it's a really neat technique. Like I say, it's been one that is from my old like it's my technique book that I've had for years, but I find that a lot of the different things are kind of outdated. So I'm just basically updating an awful lot of them and doing a few other things with it. Okay, so what we're going to do is, like I say, this technique that we're going to do today, it's called Joseph's coat. Now, originally it was named after a biblical story of Joseph's coat, and it's about his coat of changing colors. And you'll see why they picked that name after we go through this technique. Now, it actually, like I say, this one, we're going to use a lot of these different colors here, just because it kind of goes along with the Snowflake wishes, which are, that's what the designer series paper is an awful lot using this. So I'm going to be using this stamp set. Now, to make the card that we're going to do today, I actually have a piece of cardstock, and this is the Heavy Whisper White, and it's 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it at 5 1/2. And when you're doing this kind of a portrait card, you want to make sure that you use thick Whisper White, and you score it really good, and it'll stand up and it'll never flop down like it would if you don't use that thick of a Whisper White. I've also, to go along with the palette that is in the Snowflake Wishes, and I'll show you this Snowflake Wishes. It's actually on page 38 of the August to December mini, and you can see by the designer series paper that I'm kind of using the same palette that they're using in the designer series paper. It looks so nice together. So anyways, that's in the thing. So I'm using, this is Highland Heather, and this is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to be attaching, I'll have a link to my blog where it'll have all the measurements. Now, one thing that Stampin' Up doesn't carry anymore is glossy paper. You can use Whisper White because it's quite shiny and very, very smooth. But I just went and I grabbed some photo paper, and it's 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then I just had some scraps that I had actually gone ahead. This is Night of Navy, and it's 1 inch, and I'll be trimming that one down. And then I cut out a bunch of stars, and I cut them out of silver foil paper and also the Highland Heather. And I'm not sure exactly how those are all going to work together because we're kind of going to be putting the card together ourselves. So let's go about and let's start by, let's learn how to do Joseph's coat. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your Whisper White cardstock. Now, the beauty of this is you can use almost any colors that you want. I found it was best to actually use more vibrant colors with this. So anyways, this is Gorgeous Grape. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put some Gorgeous Grape. Now you're going to need some sponges for this. This is a bit messy. So on this particular one, if it's too messy for you, make sure that you, I've got my sponges, I wash my sponges. So they have different colors on them afterwards, and yeah, it doesn't really matter because they're not going to bleed onto their because when I wash them, the color is all out of there, so I just use whatever ones I need. So I'm just going to go, and I'm just putting some blotches down here. And you notice I tap that off because I don't like to have some weird colors in there, like weird swirls and that sort of stuff. So that's that. Let's go in and let's put some Pool Party on there. Oh, let's see. The Pool Party doesn't show as much, but it's kind of nice to have a bit of a light color. You can see I've had a bit of yellow in there, but that'll work. And then, let's see. I actually have a new sponge that I had bought, so why don't I just cut that up and I can just... This you can cut into 8 sizes so that you've got lots of different sponges as you go along. I'm going to use a little bit of Calypso Coral on here. I'll put some down here. I find actually the Bermuda Bay looks really, really nice with this. Like I say, no two are actually going to be the same either. So let's just go. And I'm going to put some Bermuda Bay in there. This actually really helps bring out an awful lot of things. Put some Bermuda Bay down here. Put some over here. A bit up here. And then I'm going to go in and I think I'll use the Highland Heather for some of the other colors on there. So like I say, I've got, let's see, is this Highland Heather? Yes. So let's go down here. And just going to put that in there. Like I say, if you don't like to have anything on your hands, I strongly suggest that you use rubber gloves. After I was playing around this morning, I found that, I know this looks a little strange, doesn't it? My hands were absolutely covered. Okay, so am I thinking that's going to be enough? This Bermuda Bay is so nice in there. I'm actually going to go in and just put a tiny bit of Bermuda Bay right in here. And you'll see why that's so important to have some really vibrant colors. Okay, I think that's good. Now, I'm just going to put these away. And now what I'm going to do is I'm bringing in my stamps from that Snowflake die. And we are going to use, now, if you have the old Embossing Buddy, awesome. If not, just grab an unscented dryer sheet. And you want to make sure that there's no static on here. And you also want to make sure that this is good and dry here. Now, I'm going to come in with my Versamark. And I'm just going to stamp some snowflakes on here. And this is really hard to see because it's Versamark and it's clear. And let's see, and I think I will come down here and I'll use a tiny bit over here. Now, like I say, it's really hard to see, but if you've got, you can kind of see in there. Another way that you can do this is we are going to be using clear embossing powder with this. So I could go ahead now and use my clear embossing powder. I'm not going to heat set it, but it's going to show me where I've got this Versamark in there. So let's do this. Okay, I can kind of see a little bit more. You can see that you can see a little bit more. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to use another size snowflake. So let's use that. Use that about there. And you notice that I'm going in multiples of 3. I'll do one up there. And not all on the page either. I'm going off the page. Now I can kind of see where I've got those, but you know what? I think we'll just dip it into that clear embossing powder again so that I can see it. And now I'm going to go in with, I think I'll go in with this other small snowflake. We can put that one there. Whoops. Ooh. Let's see. Let's put this one about there. And then I'm going to put this one down here. And again, I'm going to dip it into my embossing powder just so that I can actually see, to make sure that I'm not going over it with the other stamp sets. Now I'm going to go in with this one. And let's see. Just have to see where it is. I'm going to put one there. And then I'm going to put one up here. And see, I can put one in there. And I'm hoping that that's enough. So let me just go and put the clear embossing powder on there. Now remember, we don't want this embossing powder where where we didn't stamp. So we want to make sure that we do check that and make sure that we've got it all off. Let's see. Okay. Now just put the lid back on that, because knowing my luck today, I could spill that. Okay, so I also blow, because I don't want that excess embossing powder to give me spots on here. And now I'm going to go in with my heat tool, and we're going to heat set this. Now I would have done this ahead of time, but then you don't see. It's really, like I say, it's hard to do your embossing with clear, so you don't want to move back and forth like this. You want to basically start in one direction, and then you're going to start seeing it. See how it's starting to change? And let's see. A lot of times when people emboss, like I say, they move it around too much and you're not actually embossing it. And another thing you want to do is make sure that you don't overcook it as well, and that you get everything. And when it's not done, it's dull. And when it's kind of done, it's bubbly. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. Because when you do this and it's good and cooked, but not overcooked, it goes quite smooth. So we're just going to get that down there. And then we're going to double check to make sure that we've got it all. Because if we don't have it all cooked, what's going to happen is it's going to come off of the card. So you can kind of see that I've got that all done like that. Okay, now comes the magic part. So we could do this. The traditional Joseph's coat is always done with black. I just found it was a little too harsh. So basically, I'm going to use Night of Navy, and I'm going to use Night of Navy, and I'm going to use my sponge brayer. So let's just bring that in. And we're just going to brayer this on here. And this is going to take a bit of patience to make sure that you got this good and covered. Whoops. I'll show you a couple of other ones that I've done. And the old way, like I say, used to be done with black. And I'm finding it's just too harsh of a color. Mind you, if there's certain colors you want to come out, like I know that Magenta Madness with done like this is beautiful done with black. And you can actually do two tones on here as well. So we want to make sure that we've got that good and covered. And like I say, if we didn't get this properly embossed, we'd be rubbing this off with this, this sponge brayer. I'm used to the old type brayers, and it doesn't take near as much work, but it's well worth the wait. But see how pretty that is just on itself. And then I'm just going to go back the other way. Now you'll see if there's any parts where you've, because of this being the photo paper, it'll actually do marks on there. It'll also show your fingerprints as well. Okay, so there we have that. Like I say, I'm going to put this, actually, I'm going to put this like this. We're going to put the Highland Heather on here first. So bring in my Stampin' Seal. Remember with your Stampin' Seal that when you run it and roll. And the reason you run and roll is so that it continues on. Otherwise, you have to keep starting it when you're using it. I hope that makes sense because it's a great adhesive, I'll tell you that. It sticks really good. You always want to make sure that you burnish it as well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to add some ribbon to this card. And this is the Snowflake ribbon, and doesn't it look just gorgeous on this thing here? So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to use my tear and tape like I always do when I'm adding ribbon, because we don't want that ribbon coming off. It's funny, I never ever did this before, but all those cards that have been in a back room, actually they were in my mom's crafting room, all the ribbon seems to have come off, but all the ones that I do the tear and tape with work really well. So I'm just going to put that onto the back there. Doesn't that just look gorgeous? Wow. Okay. This turned out so much better than what I first imagined it to look at. You'll see the couple of other samples that I'm going to show you in just a bit, and they're not quite what I expected. I'm going to be, for my Zoom class tonight, we're going to be doing this technique as well, and I'm going to show them using a flower one. Oh, that's crooked. So, yeah, that's so pretty. I'm so stuck on this snowflake flower, or snowflake stamp set, that's for sure. I guess because you can also use snowflakes, it doesn't just have to be for Christmas time. You can use it. I mean, heavens, we do not want to be wishing snow on ourselves. We've had such a crummy summer as it is. But it is. 4 months till Christmas today, so. All right. So that's like that. Now I've gone ahead and I've used the sentiments here, and it's the Snowflake Wishes for a Merry Christmas. And I've done it like on, I'm going to do it on Night of Navy, but I've already gone ahead and I've done that to save time. So I'm going to pop that up with dimensionals. And because it's dark on dark, I'm going to use my black dimensionals. Just going to put that down there. I did try this actually, and I'll show you. I did try it with the purple, and I thought it just looked better with the Night of Navy on there. And then I cut out, like I said, some snowflakes, and I cut them out with silver. And I also used the Highland Heather. So I'm going to go in with my little dimensionals, and I'm going to put one there. And I'm going to come in with this one. Take this one off. Whoops. Put that on there. Now, I know you're probably saying, ooh, that's going to show that there. I'm going to put an embellishment on it. Now, I also went in and I kind of sponged my silver. And I'm going to put that, I don't know if that's maybe too much. Nope, that's enough. I actually sponged it with, what color is this? The Gorgeous Grape, and I'll show you. It just sort of gives it a tiny bit different color onto the silver. So I'm just going to put that on top there as well. And I'm going to use another small dimensional. We might as well really pop this up, right? And we're just going to offset that. And then we're just going to put that up there. Would have been nicer, I guess, if it was a little bit darker. I am going to use glue. Hopefully this glue is going to work. Find once, there we go. We're just going to put that there. And then I had two different embellishments that I could use. I could use, and I really like these. These ones are probably one of my go-tos on the snowflakes, are these epoxy dots. They look really nice on there. Or I thought these would even look nice, and these actually they're iridescent pearls, and I thought they might look quite nice on there. But I'm going to stick with these ones. So I like how they look on there. And that's going to cover up that thing there. So there is Joseph's coat. And you can see it's so pretty. It's so pretty. But I want to show you some other ones that I had done. And they're not done on cards yet, but you see there's this one. And this one looks quite nice. And I'm actually going to change this because there's a team color challenge. So I'm going to get that done on there. And then look at this one. This one's done with the whale one as well. So just see how many different beautiful looks that you have with it. But what a wonderful, wonderful technique to bring back. Like I say, I like it a lot better with the navy. I find it's not quite as stark. This one I did put black, a little bit of black in with it. But things do change, right? So hopefully you enjoyed that. If you did, give me the thumbs up. If not, subscribe to my video. I also have an online store, and if you are live in Canada and you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. This is my host code for this month, and every time that you do subscribe or you do put an online order in using this host code, I have a tutorial that I give away for my appreciation on there. And this month it's on cozy critters, so all different sort of types of critters that are in the new or in the annual catalog, or even I think in the holiday catalog as well. Anyways, I hope you have a great day and give Joseph's coat a try. I'd love to see your samples. Bye for now.